Man is the only creature who refuses to be what he is. Albert Camus. In a world overflowing with connections, the deepest loneliness often goes unnoticed. We scroll through endless feeds, send messages, attend gatherings, yet many feel an unbridgeable gap between themselves and others. A silent, aching disconnection that no amount of noise can fill. Camus recognized this modern paradox. The more we connect superficially, the more we lose touch with authentic belonging. This feeling isn't a personal failure, it's a symptom of the absurd condition, the collision between our desire for connection and the indifferent reality around us. If you've ever felt isolated amidst the crowd, you are not alone. You are awake in a world that often values quantity over quality, appearance over depth. This is the absurd mind, a refuge for those who seek to understand, to endure, and to find true connection. If this resonates, subscribe, leave. Like to support this reflection, and stay with me. Today we explore why you feel disconnected from everything, and how Camus's philosophy offers a path through the alienation. In today's hyper-connected world, the paradox of loneliness has never been more acute. Despite being constantly plugged into digital networks, surrounded by notifications, messages, and social media updates, many experience a profound sense of disconnection. The illusion of connection is everywhere, but beneath the surface lies an aching void, a silent isolation that no amount of online interaction can fill. This loneliness is not simply about physical solitude. It's an existential gap between the self and others, a fracture in the fabric of authentic human belonging. We are more connected yet more alienated than ever before, caught in a cycle where surface interactions replace deep relationships and fleeting attention fragments our sense of community and self. Albert Camus explored this phenomenon as part of the absurd condition of human existence. He recognized that the human desire for connection is fundamental, a longing to find meaning and belonging in others. Yet this desire collides with an indifferent world, one that does not guarantee or even facilitate genuine connection. The modern world's emphasis on speed, productivity, and surface engagement creates a space where true belonging becomes elusive. The constant bombardment of information overwhelms the senses and distracts from the depth of experience. In this context, disconnection is not a failure, but a symptom of living consciously in a world that does not nurture the soul. This sense of alienation is compounded by the fragmentation of identity in modern life. We are pulled in multiple directions by competing roles, expectations, and influences. The self becomes a mosaic of personas, shaped by social media personas, professional identities, and cultural scripts. This fragmentation deepens the disconnection, as the coherent, authentic self feels increasingly out of reach. Camus would argue that this fragmentation intensifies the absurd condition, the gap between our yearning for unity and the fractured reality we inhabit. The result is a profound solitude that permeates even the most crowded spaces. At the heart of this alienation lies the silent tension between desire and reality. We yearn for meaningful connections, for relationships that affirm our existence and offer understanding. But the world often responds with superficiality, indifference, or misunderstanding. This gap creates an existential loneliness, a solitude of the conscious mind, confronting a reality that cannot fully reciprocate. The modern individual is left to grapple with this dissonance, navigating a world that is both connected and isolating, vibrant yet empty. Yet, in this painful awareness lies the possibility of awakening. Recognizing the absurd nature of disconnection is the first step toward authentic belonging. Camus invites us to confront this reality without retreating into denial or distraction, to acknowledge the isolation, but also to seek connection with clarity and courage. This involves embracing the discomfort of solitude and using it as a space for self-understanding and growth. Through this confrontation, one begins to find moments of genuine connection that transcend superficial bonds. The journey through alienation toward authentic connection is neither easy nor guaranteed. It demands patience, resilience, and a willingness to embrace vulnerability. Camus' philosophy offers a framework to understand this struggle, not by promising solutions, but by illuminating the condition itself. It calls us to live consciously within the absurd, to find meaning in the act of seeking and relating despite the silence. This ongoing process shapes a life that is rich not in quantity of connections, but in quality of being. In a world dominated by fleeting interactions and superficial connections, the pursuit of authenticity becomes a formidable challenge. Social media platforms, constant notifications, and the pressure to perform cultivate an environment where appearances often trump genuine engagement. Individuals curate their lives, projecting idealized versions of themselves while concealing vulnerabilities and complexities. This cultivated persona serves as a barrier to true connection, fostering a collective loneliness masked by the illusion of constant engagement. Camus' absurd reveals itself here in the chasm between our deep desire to be known and the shallow realities we often inhabit. The culture of instant gratification amplifies this dissonance. Quick likes and comments provide momentary validation, yet leave a lasting emptiness. Relationships are reduced to transactional exchanges, stripped of depth and meaning. The relentless pace leaves little room for reflection or intimacy. Authenticity requires time, patience, and vulnerability, qualities eroded by the acceleration of modern life. As Camus noted, the absurd arises not only from the silence of the universe, but from the conflict between our aspirations and the fragmented world we navigate daily. This disjunction breeds a profound sense of alienation. Moreover, the fragmentation of identity exacerbates the sense of disconnection. Faced with multiple social roles and conflicting expectations, individuals often experience a fractured self. The pressure to adapt to diverse environments leads to compartmentalization and emotional distancing. This internal division undermines the possibility of holistic relationships and deep empathy. Camus' philosophy encourages embracing the absurd condition of fragmented existence while striving toward coherence through conscious self-awareness and acceptance of life's inherent contradictions. Yet, despite these challenges, the search for authentic connection persists. It manifests in subtle acts, listening deeply, showing empathy, embracing vulnerability, and rejecting performative interactions. These moments, though fleeting, offer glimpses of genuine belonging and meaning. Camus' call to live with awareness of the absurd includes recognizing and valuing these acts of connection as vital resistances against isolation. They are the threads that weave a fragile but real fabric of human solidarity amidst existential uncertainty. This ongoing struggle to balance alienation and connection is at the core of the human condition. It demands courage to face solitude and openness to others without guarantees. Camus' absurd teaches that while the universe may remain indifferent, our capacity for conscious engagement creates the possibility of meaning. This meaning is not fixed or universal, but emerges through relational presence and intentionality. The rebel, aware of absurdity, chooses connection as a form of revolt and survival. Ultimately, the paradox of modern disconnection challenges us to redefine what it means to belong. It asks for a shift from quantity to quality, from surface to depth, from illusion to authenticity. This transformation is neither simple nor swift, but it offers a pathway through the void, a way to reclaim human connection in a fractured world. Through embracing the absurd and cultivating genuine presence, we discover a shared humanity that transcends isolation and affirms life's fragile beauty. Modern connection often feels paradoxically empty. Despite constant contact, many experience a profound sense of alienation as interactions become superficial performances rather than meaningful exchanges. Social media amplifies this by encouraging curated personas that prioritize appearance over authenticity, leading to fractured identities and isolation. The relentless pursuit of visibility masks the deeper human need for genuine connection. Camus' concept of the absurd manifests here as the tension between our innate longing for belonging and a world that frequently offers hollow substitutes. This emptiness pervades our experience, creating a silent loneliness amidst the noise of connectivity. The digital age's immediacy fosters fleeting gratification but sacrifices depth. Moments of intimacy are replaced by rapid scrolling and ephemeral likes which, while momentarily satisfying, fail to nurture true relational bonds. The reduction of relationships to transactional exchanges undermines emotional resonance, exacerbating feelings of disconnection. This landscape leaves many yearning for connection that transcends surface-level interaction. Camus would argue that this dissonance exemplifies the absurd, the confrontation between human desire and an indifferent, fragmented reality. Identity fragmentation compounds this alienation. Individuals juggle multiple social roles and online personas, often resulting in compartmentalization and emotional detachment. The pressure to maintain these distinct selves hampers authentic engagement and self-understanding. Camus's philosophy invites recognition of this fragmentation as inherent to the human condition, encouraging acceptance without resignation. Through conscious awareness of these contradictions, one can strive for coherence and deeper connection despite life's inherent absurdity. Amidst this fractured existence, the search for authentic relationships persists. Genuine connection arises from vulnerability, empathy, and presence, offering respite from isolation's grip. These moments, though rare and fragile, represent acts of rebellion against the pervasive alienation of modern life. Camus's call to live consciously within the absurd encompasses embracing these connections as essential to human flourishing, even in an indifferent universe. They form a tenuous but meaningful web of solidarity that counters existential solitude. This ongoing dialectic between alienation and connection defines much of contemporary human experience. It requires bravery to confront solitude and openness to others without certainty of reciprocation. Camus teaches that while ultimate meaning may be absent, our capacity for intentional engagement offers a form of meaning-making vital for psychological and spiritual survival. The absurd rebel chooses connection as an act of defiance, carving meaning in an indifferent world. Ultimately, redefining belonging demands moving beyond quantity towards quality of interaction. It entails shedding illusions and cultivating presence and authenticity. This transformation is challenging but necessary, offering a path through modern disconnection. By embracing absurdity and fostering genuine connection, we reclaim our shared humanity, affirming life's fragile and fleeting beauty despite its inherent uncertainty. Within the paradox of modern disconnection lies the potential for authentic reconnection. While the world's surface encourages shallow interactions, the human spirit yearns for depth and truth. Breaking free from the cycle of performance requires a conscious effort to embrace vulnerability and presence. This process begins with self-awareness, recognizing the masks worn and the roles played. By confronting the discomfort of authenticity, individuals create spaces where genuine connection can flourish, even amidst an indifferent and fragmented reality. Camus's philosophy invites us to acknowledge the absurd condition while actively cultivating moments of real belonging. True connection demands patience and courage. It requires stepping beyond curated personas and embracing imperfections, both in ourselves and in others. These acts of authenticity challenge the dominant culture of distraction and superficiality. Through empathy and honest presence, the barriers of isolation can be softened. Camus' call to live consciously within absurdity involves choosing to engage fully with the complexity and ambiguity of human relationships, resisting the temptation of withdrawal or denial. Reconnection is also a process of reclaiming narrative control. Fragmented identities can be integrated through deliberate reflection and intentional relationships. As individuals navigate the tensions between societal expectations and personal authenticity, they carve out spaces for coherence and self-understanding. This ongoing work nurtures resilience against alienation and fosters a sense of belonging rooted in truth rather than illusion. Camus would view this as a form of revolt, a refusal to accept the disconnection as final or absolute. Moreover, reconnection requires embracing the impermanence and fragility of human bonds. Acknowledging that relationships are transient can, paradoxically, deepen their significance. The rebel, aware of absurdity, cherishes these fleeting moments of intimacy as acts of resistance against existential isolation. This appreciation transforms loneliness from a source of despair into a catalyst for meaningful engagement. The awareness of mortality and loss enriches the texture of connection, making it both precious and urgent. Camus' insight into the absurd condition encourages embracing the tension between desire and reality. The dissonance between longing for connection and the universe's indifference creates the space where rebellion and hope emerge. This dynamic interplay invites a courageous engagement with life's complexities, fostering growth and deepening understanding. Through conscious presence, individuals participate in a collective struggle for authenticity amid pervasive alienation. Ultimately, the journey from disconnection to authentic belonging is neither linear nor guaranteed. It demands persistence and willingness to face discomfort and uncertainty. Camus' philosophy offers guidance without prescription, illuminating the condition and inviting conscious choice. By embracing absurdity and actively fostering genuine relationships, we reclaim a shared humanity that transcends isolation and affirms life's fragile beauty. In a world where disconnection often feels inevitable, the act of seeking genuine connection becomes a form of resistance. Amid the noise and superficiality, choosing to be present and vulnerable is a courageous rebellion against the absurd. These intentional moments of connection, whether with others or oneself, carve out spaces of meaning in an indifferent universe. Camus' philosophy teaches that while the absurd offers no guarantees, the conscious choice to engage authentically affirms life's value despite its inherent meaninglessness. This resistance is not grandiose, but often quiet and subtle, listening deeply, sharing honestly, embracing imperfection. Such acts challenge the dominant culture of distraction and denial, offering a pathway toward healing alienation. In these moments, the rebel finds solace not in illusions, but in the raw truth of shared humanity. The paradox is striking. By accepting the absurd and our isolation, we open ourselves to connection that transcends the superficial, creating a fragile but profound sense of belonging. Moreover, this rebellion nurtures resilience. It equips individuals to face solitude without despair and to endure the fragility of relationships without retreat. Camus's concept of revolt is ongoing and active, requiring vigilance against complacency and denial. Through persistent engagement with others and oneself, the rebel maintains a lifeline to meaning constructed from presence and authenticity, resisting the pull of existential despair. The absurd reminds us that while the universe may be indifferent, human beings are capable of creating significance through connection. This creation is not guaranteed or permanent, but is a continuous, deliberate act. Each genuine encounter, each moment of vulnerability, becomes a building block in a life shaped by conscious choice rather than passive acceptance. It is through these acts that the rebel asserts freedom amid absurdity. Camus' message is both sobering and hopeful. The awareness of disconnection and absurdity is daunting, yet within this awareness lies the potential for profound growth and authentic relationships. The rebel's path is one of continual negotiation between isolation and connection, despair and hope, silence and dialogue. This dynamic process forms the essence of living consciously within the absurd. Ultimately, connection as an act of rebellion redefines belonging not as a given, but as an earned and fragile state. It demands courage to face uncertainty and vulnerability. Through embracing this challenge, we affirm our shared humanity and find moments of beauty and meaning in a world that offers no guarantees. This is the rebel's gift, the choice to live fully awake, connected and free. The absurd exposes the silent gulf between our yearning for connection and a world often indifferent to it. Yet, in this tension lies the seed of rebellion, the choice to engage authentically despite the void. Camus reminds us that while the universe offers no promises, the conscious act of connecting becomes a defiant affirmation of life itself. This act is neither simple nor guaranteed, but requires courage to face vulnerability and uncertainty. Most seek solace in distraction or superficial bonds, avoiding the discomfort of true connection. But the rebel embraces solitude and presence, understanding that genuine relationships are fragile and fleeting, yet profoundly transformative. Through conscious engagement, the rebel crafts meaning and belonging, resisting alienation's pull and affirming shared humanity amidst existential silence. Living authentically amid absurdity means embracing both isolation and community, despair and hope. It demands continuous effort and resilience to foster connection in a fragmented world. Camus' philosophy offers no easy answers, but illuminates the path of awareness and choice, inviting us to find meaning in the act of relating, even when the universe remains silent. The rebel's journey is marked by an ongoing negotiation with absurdity, balancing the desire for connection with the reality of disconnection. This dynamic tension fosters growth, empathy, and deepened understanding, enriching the human experience despite its inherent fragility. It is a path of courage and presence. Ultimately, the choice to connect is a radical act of freedom, a refusal to succumb to despair or isolation. It affirms the power of human agency to create significance in a world devoid of inherent meaning. This rebellion shapes a life that is deeply personal, transient and beautiful in its imperfection. If this reflection resonated with you, you are part of a rare community, those awake to the absurd and choosing connection. Subscribe, leave a key, like and join the absurd mind as we continue exploring how to live fully awake, connected and free. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.